GALE is founded in 1954, so it has been 70 years. And then GALE started from one encyclopedia, named as the Encyclopedia of Association. This particular title is still made available in the market for the customers to purchase it. And then the company was sold to Thomson. And then GALE from 1988, we're starting to do the CD-ROM businesses. Then in 93, we're starting to do references and the internet. And then GALE merged with another two companies, which is the Info Access Company and the Primary Source Media. Then that becomes GALE as on today. So GALE in year 2007, we've been sold to another private equity, and that has become the Cengage Learning as on today. Okay, so we're based in United States, Michigan, and then we are one of the very well-known publishers, especially on the reference side. We have many imprints like Macmillan's, that Scribner and Son, all that you may probably heard about before. And then we have different kind of materials that we've been doing, which is from print, electronic, as microfilms. So as on today, what I'm trying to talk about it is actually post-pandemic, or something that may be happen in the future, what we actually should do, or what the library actually should do in order to address the issues that we may facing today. Okay, so we know pandemics has already been like about 4 years, coming to 5 years. So it will actually really give a big impact to every one of us who really experienced it throughout the period of time. So this is the WH, or the WHO things that we really need to question a little bit on ourselves. Like, how did we do if that situation is happening, and what are we going to do next? Okay, and then we have to analyze what actually in the current situations within the library, within the institution, and within the environment. So what should we actually address the issue? And then we also want to probably design a new roadmap that including learning and teachings method to address all the issue here. And we also need to probably think about that. What are the things that we really need to have it? And then what about our student? What do they actually want from that? So we have to think about all these issues that possibly happen, and then let's do it and we implement it. Okay, so this is some of the worrisms that we've been facing in the past, where student learning is lost. Means that they are not entering the classes, and then they actually not really put all the efforts in their learning, and then they also absent from the classes, and then they don't really do engagement together with the learning or all the functions that we are actually talking about that. So this also blurring the parents and the teachers' roles, because teachers have their own roles. When the time they are not in the classroom, the parents becomes the teacher, and then that is confusing in the roles that what and who should do the right things for them to learn better. So these are all the things that possibility that we can able to see it. So this is where we need to design in order to engage and equitable the student experience all together in one. Okay, so this is a very simple roadmap that you can really to see from here. Is like everyone's need to put on the efforts in order to address the issues that we are actually facing in the future, if that really happens. Okay, so first of all, we talk about the teamwork. So the teamwork is also related to people's and the ideals and the plan. So healthy and safety also in the classrooms all will be addressed from the teamwork together. Okay, so we also need to engaging and delivering from staffing, technology, and resources wise. Okay, so we know that this is important, and it's really important that we really need to see from the staffing perspective, from technology perspective, and resources perspective. From GALE, we will focus more on the third one. So this is all we really want to talk about it. Okay, then also the effectiveness of the instructions from the assessment, attendance, and engagement. How are we going to bring all these students to group together and come together with us? Okay, then professional learning, that is more on the teaching side and the learning need. And obviously, we also need to think about that since they are not able to come to the classrooms, the remote access, and how are we going to address all these things. Okay, then we also have the last one, which is actually a lot of communications that we really need to do. So in order that for this roadmap that you can plan and implement it eventually. Okay, so the basic thing we always talk about it, for instance, if you talk about hardware and software, so computer, laptops, internet, they have it, are they made available to them? And if they don't really have it, how are we going to address all these things? Then with the hardware and software part here, obviously we need to look into the resources or the content. So type of content, as you can see, you may have subscribed some of the product. I just give you some of the example from Gear 1 Far, Gear in Context and all that, and then you have others, publishers, resources that you can subscribe. And then we also have some kind of contents that you can purchase and own it. Okay, as we know, purchase and own it, that is become very, very more, important, is because this is a one-time investment. Once you place it, then you should be able to get it forever for your users to access it. So some of the example like include the Gear ebooks, the primary sources, and all that. So contents, they may have some which is called lease to own, contractual, and free, and all these things. So they need to get into one place. So the user can come to this single place to get access to all these resources easily. Okay, so the resources include textbooks, include journals, magazine, periodicals, newspapers, and all that. They may also include some of the references, materials, primary sources, and others that include, as you can see, there are a whole chunk of this information that will be available or make available to the user when they need it. Okay, so learning platform, we also talk about the LMS, course pack, persistent URL, mark records, all that. We need to make sure that all these things is also made available for the user if they really need to get access it outside from the campus. Okay, so Gear is 100% compliance to the learning platform and the technologies that we actually mentioned here. Okay, so example of the course pack, as you know, course pack, once you create it, it can be used for generation, not generation, for batches of the users that coming the following years. Okay, then the faculty members or the lecturer will be able to update it in order to provide them the latest course pack with the latest information if needed. Okay, then authentication method, I think one of the very important, the authentications for the users to access the resources outside of the campus. Okay, the most and easiest authentication, we always say, we just give the password to the student. Okay, so but this password can be leaked out to others party and it can create more problems. So as you can see, you have a single sign-on authentication including Google, Microsoft, ClassLink, Clever, LTI, Sibole, Easy Proxy, all that kind of stuff. We actually able to assist you in order to implement it and register it so that your user will be able to use one of this single sign-on authentication method when the time they access it outside of the campus. Okay, so others remote authentication method like Google Scholar, referral, IP addresses, and password, this is all we already know, right? So Gear, again, 100% compliance to all these things. Now, with the hardware, software, and all the resources made available, I would just like to take quick, just to show you the product from Gear. This is from publisher's perspective that we have one product called as a Gear Research Complete. So this is a product that consists of 28,000 of periodicals, journals, magazine, newspaper, and all that. Then it also consists of about 1.5 million articles related to literature. Okay? And 4,000 Gear ebooks, volumes, and then 30 million pages of the rare primary sources. So these all will be grouped as a package that we call it as a Gear Research Complete. Okay, when we buy resources, we're not only looking at the quantity, we also look at the quality, obviously. So that is where the quality and the quantity, they have to be balanced. And whatever resources that we try to purchase it, we try to subscribe it, we make sure that it's justified with the value and the prices that you actually pay for it. Okay, so like for instance, you're buying the Gear ebooks from us and then you get access to some of the Gear 1 Far resources. So this is where we talk about the value and the prices that you're actually paying for. Okay, so the Gear Research Complete basically consists of the 6 major products: the Gear Academic 1 Far, General 1 Far, newspaper, ebooks, archive and bound, and the Gear Literature. So these are the 6 main components that we have in the GRC. Okay, so for this part here, want to share with you is the Gear Literature. Within the Gear Literature itself, you should be able to find there are another 8 different components. So these all components will be tied together in the GALE literature platform or product. So eventually, the entire GALE GRC platform is going to give you all this information and all these resources from periodicals, journals, newspaper, primary sources, ebooks, everything. They will be grouped together as one package that we name it as the GRC. So this is the summary of the GRC, as you can see here, that is really giving the user one platform to access to millions of articles within the platform itself. So from the periodicals, as already mentioned, there are about 28,000 of it, and then we have about 1,800 of the ebooks, and then the literature, also the archive unbounds that we all put together. So this is the huge contents that we make available in the platform itself, okay? And as you can see, the product itself is really giving the needs from different groups of the users for their research, for their papers. So you can see they cater for the different needs. But for the periodical side, it's basically cover all aspects, cover all the subject areas that we actually mentioned. So from here, you should be able to see that it's really giving a true knowledge of information to the user who really needs to find all these informations within the platform itself. Okay, so in order to address this, we built a platform that is actually cater all the resources into one single one single platform. So within this single platform, that is where you should be able to find more and more information that will be one platform, one search, but giving you all the multiple resources from the different content site. Okay, so this is a really huge product, and we have a really great success in many places in the world. Okay, and to talk about pricing, okay, we have these periodical databases. Obviously, you subscribe, it may cost you about few 10,000 of US dollars. Then we talk about the ebooks, which is about 1,800 titles, consists of about, almost 4,000 volumes. That one itself is about 800 over 1,000 US dollars. Okay? Then we have this, another one is the literature resources. If you talk about subscription, we actually also talk about 10 over 1,000 US dollars. And then last but not least, the archive unbound from the primary sources. We're giving I think we are actually giving more than 400 collections. In my presentation, I forgot to update it, so it's only 315. So this archive unbound is actually a rare primary source documents. It may be a letter, it may be a book, can be anything, or it can be a manuscripts and all that stuff. Okay, so when we talk about letter, it may be just one and only one in the world. So we digitize it, and then because it may be a handwritten, so we HDR it. Okay, and then you can use the platform, use the keywords to search and to yield out the result. Okay, so with this information, with this archive unbound resources, we give you almost 400 over, and that value of this 400 over collection is actually close to about $1 million. Okay, so with all this package, you put it into here. As I mentioned, it's almost like it's almost like 2 million US dollars package. But we are not selling you at 200 million. Okay, we are selling you at a very reasonable subscription fee that your user should be able to get all these resources if they really need to access it for any event like the pandemic that happened in the past. Okay. So this is my short presentation, and we have the booth here. We have Tanakrit, which is my colleagues from Thailand. So later on, if you have any interest of any question, you are more than welcome to come to our booth, and then we can share with you more about the GALE product and technology and the resources. Okay, thank you very much, and I wish you all a very happy New Year 2025. Thank you.
Thank you, GALE, for sharing.